or average velocity is distance traveled over time taken. The average velocity is a change in position over time. She walks 588 centimeters and it takes her 4.6 seconds. So the distance is divided by the time, so her average velocity is 127.83 centimeters per second.
Newton's third law of motion states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. When the ball bounces, the ball applies force to the floor, and the floor applies that same amount of force to the ball, causing it to bounce right back up.
Frame of reference is a background or an object that is used to see motion. It is assumed stationary. One person cartwheels across the grass as there are two other people behind her as a frame of reference. The person cartwheeling starts on the right side of the two people and ends on the left side of the two people.
Momentum describes how strong a moving thing is. Things that aren't moving have no momentum. Momentum equals mass times velocity, or P equals mv. When you push one ball at another ball, the momentum of the first affects the second. If one ball were to stop dead after the collision, the other ball will continue away with all the momentum. If the moving ball continues or is deflected, like in this case, both balls will carry a portion of the momentum from the collision.
The law of universal gravity is when two objects attract to each other because of a universal force, which would be the core pulling everything towards the center of the Earth. The ball is being pulled because the Earth's core has a force of gravity that pulls everything towards it.
Newton's second law of motion states that force equals mass times acceleration. The golf ball has a mass of 45.7 grams, and the ping pong ball has a mass of 2.5 grams. The force of the golf ball is greater because the mass is more. The golf ball ends up being the first thing to get to the bottom of the ramp.
Rolling friction is the resistive force that slows down the motion of a rolling ball or wheels. In our case, it is wheels. Pushing the person on the chair with wheels is rolling friction because when you push the person, the wheels help them move forward. As you are rolling, the friction of the wheels on the ground slows it down until it is at a complete stop.
When two objects rub together, it causes the friction that is the hardest to fight. When Maria and Emily slide down the metal bar they are sliding against, they move slower here than they would if they were rolling down that same decline on wheels, because sliding is the strongest type of friction.
Newton's first law of motion states that an object in motion will stay in motion with a constant velocity unless acted upon by an outside unbalanced force. This also states that an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an outside unbalanced force. Playing catch with the ball being thrown stays in motion until the other person applies an unbalanced force to the ball, causing it to stop. Therefore, the object in motion will stay in motion unless stopped by an outside force.
Potential energy is the stored energy that something has based on its position. Potential energy is mass times gravity times height. Gravity is 9.8 newtons. The three people swinging go back and forth. They have the most potential energy when they are the highest up right before they're about to drop back down. Kinetic energy is the energy which an object possesses due to its motion. The equation for kinetic energy is half the mass times the volume squared. The three people on the swings are going back and forth. They have the most kinetic energy right before they hit the center point.
A force is any push or pull. In this case, it is a push. When there is an unbalanced force applied to the back of the crate, it moves forward.
A force is any push or pull. When two girls are pulling each other, they are applying force to each other because neither one of the girls fell down and both stayed spinning and standing. It shows that it is a balanced force, meaning that they are both applying the same amount of force to each other.
A force is any push or pull. Pushing a girl forward with an unbalanced force causes her to fall forward.
A force is any push or pull. Pulling a girl by her legs down the hall, we apply a force that causes her to move on her back down the hall. Oh my God! Go. Hurry up.